name is Laysa, and I'm an architecture and urbanism student of PUC-PR Belas Artes. I'm going to talk about my Semiti that was advised by Professor and Dr. Altair Rosa with the theme of flooding areas and the flood risks mapping on the district of Curitiba. The last decade came with a significant advance in urbanization, resulting in changes in the city's ecosystem. The urban growth has caused an increase in non-permeable surfaces and a transformation in the water cycle, which affects the soil's capacity of absorbing water. The central point of this research is to map and examine flood risk zones in the district of Curitiba, reconciling formal information and community testimonies with the finality of identifying critical areas and proposed urban drainage strategies substantiated by green infrastructure and low-impact practices. The objective of this research is georeference flood reports obtained through electronic forms, converting descriptive records into points with geographic coordinates. Integrate voluntary data with the official civil defense records and information reported in the media to identify patterns of recurrence and gaps in coverage. Build thematic maps of flooding and flood risks, highlighting the critical areas and points of overlap between the different data sources, and assess based on a spatial analysis the potential for applying sustainable urban drainage in situations in regions mapped as most vulnerable. The methods and methodology were organized by order of action. First, we have the technical review of literature. Then we have the georeferencing data collected from the population via an electronic form. Then we have this data and information organized into integrated spatial database, enabling detailed geographic analysis. Then the incorporation of information from various official institutional sources, such as the Civil Defense of Curitiba, which provides historical records of extreme hydrometeorological events. Then we have media records collected to perform data triangulation. The thematic maps are created by overlapping various sources of information using techniques such as density and frequency in the maps by the neighborhood. The analysis focuses on the intersection between cartographic, citizen science, and hydrological risk management in urban context. It's based on theoretical and methodological functions organized into four complementary analytical axes. The thematic cartography that is responsible to spatially represent vulnerability and risk patterns, the social cartography in participatory mapping as strategies for valuing local knowledge and strengthening the territorial justice, and citizen science as a tool for collaborative data production and increasing the legitimacy in urban planning, and the articulation between hydrological risk management and resilient urban planning strategies. The results according to the population survey is that the neighborhood with the highest number of reports are Fani and Prado Velho. In Prado Velho, most reports were concentrated in the vicinity of PUC-PR, often used as the Yellow Bridge reference point. In the Fani neighborhood, the most frequent mentioned location is the Alta Viação São José dos Pinhais. The lack of an efficient storm drainage system means that the water from the higher areas is directed to Pinheirinho and Belém rivers, which runs through the Fani neighborhood in Prado Velho, specifically in the vicinity of PUC-PR flooding occurs. By the civil defense, the results were, once the records were converted into geographic coordinates, it became possible to specialize the occurrence by neighborhood and specific landmarks. Comparing the data sets revealed, the overlap between popular and institutional information is more significant in certain regions. Notably, the industrial city of Curitiba, SIC, appears in the neighborhood with the highest number of flooding occurrences, as recorded by official databases. The concentration of events in SIC occurs mainly in the vicinity of Vila Rose. The integration of database enables as a broader comparative spatial analysis. This process is made possible to identify patterns of occurrence and reoccurrence, as well as highlight the gaps in the detection and response to flooding events in Curitiba. The overlap of this information demonstrates high convergence of data in certain areas in the city, which reinforces the reliability and consistency of the records. In the discussion, we have a timeline that specifies our general goal, that is the spatial analysis, the citizen and media data that use the cross-referencing of the two data, the gaps in the traditional data, that's the state's ability to monitor and take adequate response to risky situations, and the central problem that the cross-analysis revealed significant disparities between official records and local perceptions. And from our final considerations, the results obtained demonstrated that integrating those different sources of information, especially data from the public participation, represents an effective and complementary alternative to traditional risk mapping approaches. The methodology reinforces the importance of citizen awareness, the production of territorial knowledge, and the strengthening of public policies that are more sensitive to local realities.